Hello, everyone, and welcome to biology. So, for today's lecture, we're going to talk about what is biology. Biology is broken up into two roots. We have bio, which is life, and ology, which means the study of. So, biology creates the study of life. So, a biologist is a person who studies biology or a person who studies life. And life is anything that is living. So, this can be anything from something we can see, which is a fox, a paramecium, or an ant, a bacteria, or even a cell. This can be macroscopic, which is things that we can see with our naked eye, or microscopic, which is things that we'll need to see with a microscope because they're too small to see normally. And it can be living alone or in large groups or colonies. So here we have this mysterious purple blob. In the comments below, answer how you would decide if these blobs are alive or not, or, if you have any questions. So what is life? Well, the characteristics of life is one, all living things have an organized structure. They're made up of cells or organized units. And so we can go back to the history of cells with Robert Hooke and Leeuwenhoek. So Hooke and Leeuwenhoek were both different. One was a biologist and one was a Danish trader. And what happened was they were looking in a microscope and saw organized structures in living things. One of them looked in and looked at cork and saw that it was made up into these organized little boxes, and he said that they looked like monastery cells. So, thus the name cells. The other one was looking at protist cells. So living things also have the ability to reproduce. We can either do this either asexually, which means that it makes a copy of its DNA, a copy of everything in its cell, and then divides and you get two of them. Usually things that are done asexually are things like bacterium, pretty much your prokaryotes. Eukaryotes or eukaryotic organisms tend to do sexual reproduction, which means you have a male and a female, and they end up combining half of their DNA each into a new cell, and that creates a new organism. They have the ability to carry out metabolism, which is different chemical reactions. We use this to break down food to get energy. We do this to obtain food or energy, and we use it to move, breathe, exist. We require water. Living things are made up of mostly water, about 90%, and almost all chemical processes need water to facilitate. We also grow and develop, which is living things use substances from our environment to grow. You don't look the same as you did when you were a blastocyte or an embryo or a fetus or a toddler or a baby or anything. You look very different and you undergo change as you grow. A really big example, something you can see in it really, really well, is a frog, where you have a tadpole, a froglet, a frog, and then frogs will end up laying eggs, which will eventually become tadpoles. Living organisms also respond to our environments. We can do this through movement, which is how we move about our environment to find food, mates, etc., or through stimulus and response, which is how we respond to various stimuli. So light, temperature, gravity, moisture, and other chemical and physical stimuli. For example, if you were asleep and someone shone light into your eyes to wake you up or poured water on you, the stimulus is either having the light being shined in your eyes, which will cause the response to be either trying to turn over or you waking up, or the cold water, which will create a jolt to the system and you'll be waking up. Now, biology is studied at different levels. We can do this at the molecular level, which is groups of atoms like water, DNA, amino acids. Cellular level, which is the smallest functional unit of life. Here we have a picture of a nerve cell, which belongs to the nervous system, which is composed of two parts. We'll get to that. We can study at groups of cells like tissues, the brain, which is part of the central nervous system, and the nervous system, which we can break down into the central and the peripheral nervous system. We can also study it into organisms, which is an individual living thing. So here we have a picture of a tortoise. One tortoise is one organism. We can study it at different levels, which is the interaction of organisms of one population or of one species in an area. So we can look at a population of tortoise, a population of yucca tree, or a population of tarantulas. We can also do this as a community, which is which is all the populations interacting in a defined area. We can even do this as an ecosystem, which is the community and its non-living surroundings interacting. So animals, plants, air, water, etc. Or we could even look at it through the biosphere, which is the part of the earth that contains all living ecosystems. So it can be anywhere from the deepest oceans to the atmosphere that contains life.